right now there's a need for different generations to sort of create alliances in order to solve some of the biggest challenges in societies. Do you have any strategies about or on your own teams?
Yes, so we are really big believers in what's called the grandmother hypothesis, which is something that came from cultural anthropology. And the question arose to anthropologists, why are there grandmothers? Because they no longer have a reproductive function in the Darwinian sense, yet they cost additional food and effort from a tribe. So you would think that tribes that did not have grandmothers, namely that people would die at like age 30 or 40, would propagate much more rapidly and be more successful than people who would live until their 60s or 70s. And of course, it's the opposite. And it turns out that grandmothers have the cultural knowledge. They know which herbs and plants in the forest are good for curing diseases. They know things that took decades to acquire that knowledge. And that's the reason why in our genes we're designed to live many decades past our reproductive age, because our grandparents have this cultural knowledge that's of immense survival value. So in our own company, United Therapeutics, we have a whole floor that we call the grandparents floor. And when people want to retire because they've reached 60 or 65 or 70, we say to them, hey, if you want to retire, that's great, but keep your card key or security key to get into the building. Keep your email, and here's an office, and we invite you to come and hang out in your office and come down to the canteen wherever you want, because there are people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who will not only value, who will treasure the knowledge that you acquired over the past few decades.
Oh, for sure. That's a great idea. More companies should.
Well, it's evolution's idea.
Right.
Martine Rothblatt, awesomeness personified, an epic person that really knows no boundaries, quite literally. And that is why I'm nominating Martine Rothblatt for the Juice Game Changer of the Year award. There are many reasons to nominate Martine for this award. She's a humanist. She believes in cyber consciousness and has created a mind clone of her wife, Bina48, and you can tweet with Bina48 on Twitter. It's amazing. She also is an ethicist. She started Sirius XM Radio. She began United Therapeutics because her daughter was diagnosed with a serious, life-threatening pulmonary disease, and she found a therapeutic for that disease. And of all these reasons, there's still yet another to nominate her for Game Changer of the Year. And that has to do with what she's doing with organ transplantation. And she has a three-prong approach to this, which is absolutely mind-blowing. When it comes to lung transplantation, people die every year because pristine lungs that are actually available for transplantation, 4 out of 5 of those lungs are thrown away because they cannot be gotten to the surgeons, the transplant surgeons, in time. Well, Martine and her team have created an artificial body into which this lung can be transported to the transplant team, therefore being able to take a little bit longer to get there, and the lung is still viable, transplanted into the human being, saving a life. Amazingness. Secondly, what she's doing is working with the pig genome to make certain modifications within the pig genome so that these lungs and other organs can be transplanted into human beings. And they've been able to make some huge progress in this area by essentially taking the pig organs and putting them into a bath of human blood. And what essentially happens is there is rejection, but they've gotten to the place now where they've made the modifications in the genome where they've gotten that from 2 hours and then it's rejected to 8 hours. And now they're looking to increase that and increase that. And finally, in conjunction with Craig Vender, the father of the mapping of the human genome, she's gotten together with him to create 3D printing, which essentially gives us a collagen framework onto which stem cells are then grafted. And then you can go ahead and create any lung or heart or any other organ that is immunologically totally connected to you and your DNA, with absolutely no reason to worry about rejection. These are amazing, amazing accomplishments which will change the face of healthcare as we know them. And for all of these reasons, I'm nominating Martine Rothblatt for the Game Changer of the Year award.
Well, I think this business community is one of the most vibrant in the whole country because we have all of the medical establishment of the NIH and the FDA is here. And of course, United Therapeutics, my company, is a biotechnology company. So to be kind of sandwiched between the NIH and the FDA puts us at the pinnacle of biotechnology.